What if the keys to freedom, dignity, and redemption were not locked behind courtrooms or foreign policies, but behind prison bars, buried deep in the red soil of a forgotten nation? In Burkina Faso, a quiet revolution is growing. Not with guns or politics, but with seeds, hoes, and calloused hands. At the center of it all is a man many call unpredictable, others call radical, but to the people, he's becoming something else entirely, a leader planting real change. Captain Ibrahim Traore has made a move that the world didn't see coming. A move so bold, so disruptive, that even his critics are now watching in stunned silence. He's turning prisoners into farmers. Yes, you heard that right. Men once shackled in cells, women once cast aside and forgotten, they're now tilling land, harvesting crops, and building futures that just months ago were unthinkable. Traoré's vision isn't about punishment. It's about purpose. It's about taking those who've been cast out by society and giving them a stake in rebuilding it. In a country where food insecurity haunts daily life and prisons overflow with those jailed for poverty, theft, or survival, not violence, this isn't just reform. This is transformation. Under Traoré's directive, for every month an inmate spends working on a farm, their sentence is reduced by 3. That means a man sentenced to 6 years could walk free in just 2. But freedom isn't handed out cheaply, it's earned with sweat, sunburns, and seeds. And the impact? It's rippling across the entire country. Inside the walls of what used to be Baporo Correctional Facility, vast fields of maize, rice, and millet now stretch toward the horizon. Rows upon rows of green life, nurtured not by expert farmers but by the very hands once bound by chains. These are no longer prisoners, they're producers. Providers. Citizens reclaiming their place. Traoré didn't just hand out tools and walk away. He built an entire ecosystem, a pipeline of transformation. Inmates receive real agricultural training. They study irrigation, crop cycles, and animal care. Former convicts, now experts, return as mentors. Plots of land are divided, not just for labor, but for ownership. Wages are paid. Profits are shared. Some have used their earnings to rent homes for their families. Others bought motorcycles, started saving, or even sent their children back to school. Suddenly, the very system that once stole years from their lives is now giving them something back, a second chance. And guess what? Crime is down. Recidivism is dropping fast. Because once you've held the fruit of your own labor, once you've tasted dignity, it's hard to go back to chains. Communities that once feared these men now buy onions from them at local markets. One woman said it best, they grow better than we do. The change is deeper than soil. It's cultural. It's economic. It's spiritual. For decades, Burkina Faso, like much of Africa, has relied on aid and imports to survive. But Traoré asked the forbidden question, why feed prisoners when they can feed the nation? And feed it they have. Crops from prison farms are now showing up in school lunches, hospitals, and even exports. Food shortages in provinces like Dori and Kaya have eased. The cost of incarceration has plummeted. And for the first time in years, Burkina's GDP from agriculture has ticked upward. But this isn't just about economics. It's about symbolism. Every bag of rice stamped with "produced by the citizens of Burkina Faso" tells a story. We are not broken. We are building. International institutions didn't know what to make of it. Some called it forced labor. Others dismissed it as a publicity stunt. But when UN observers arrived and saw the smiles, the hands in the dirt, the transformation, they paused. We've never seen this model work so fast, one said. And Traoré? He didn't wait for validation. He expanded the program. He launched training stations, radio programs, cold storage hubs. even eco-cooperatives run by ex-inmates. He wasn't trying to fix a broken system. He was building a new one from the ground up. But perhaps the most remarkable part? He didn't forget the women. Too often in Africa, female inmates are forgotten. Locked up, stigmatized, left without education or support. But under Traoré, they became leaders. In a special wing in Ouagadougou, women grow aloe vera, peppers, and medicinal herbs. They run greenhouses. They teach vertical farming. Some now lead all-female co-ops feeding school children and hospitals. One woman, Isatu, now manages a 5-acre plot and supplies pharmacies with organic medicine. Another, Mayam, became a trainer, passing on skills and hope. For them, prison was not the end. It was the beginning. And the ripple effect didn't stop at agriculture. Local industries woke up. Blacksmiths were hired to make farming tools. Transport businesses emerged to move produce. Former inmates started co-ops. Factories were reopened. Entire villages sprang back to life, not just because of crops, but because of opportunity. This isn't trickle-down economics. It's grassroots revolution. One prison farm now supplies 5 restaurants. In Koudougou, an old mill is now co-run by ex-convicts. And across the nation, markets are booming with produce grown by people who were once behind bars. Western critics continue to squirm. They're monetizing rehabilitation, one EU diplomat said. But in Traoré's eyes, that's not a bug. It's a feature. His system isn't a drain, it's an engine. Every bag sold, every crop harvested, is a return on investment. A stake in the national economy. And then came the boldest move yet, land redistribution. Burkina Faso, like much of Africa, still suffers the wounds of colonial land theft. Fertile lands hoarded by elites. Foreign companies fencing off farms for exports. But Traoré reclaimed those lands. Through a legal tool called community reclamation allocation, fallow state-owned plots were handed to prisoner co-ops. Not least. Owned. Based on performance and rehabilitation. Imagine it, a man who once stole bread to survive now oversees 10 hectares of cassava. He employs his cousins. He feeds his village. He's no longer a convict. He's a landowner. It's more than reform. It's restoration. Land, labor, and life, given back to those who once lost it all. And if that sounds familiar, it's because it is. Thomas Sankara, Burkina's legendary revolutionary, once dreamed of a self-reliant nation built by its own people. Traoré is carrying that torch, not with slogans, but with solar irrigation, drone monitoring, and blockchain land deeds. This is decolonization, one harvest at a time. And it's not over. Plans are underway for agro-industrial hubs run by ex-inmates. Permaculture villages powered by solar. Export-ready farms owned by co-ops of former prisoners. A nationwide farming union that might one day feed the entire Sahel. Critics call it risky. Locals call it redemption. Because what Traoré understands is simple: when you give people land, skills, and dignity, you don't just change their lives. You change a nation. And the media? He's not letting them twist the story. A state-run docu-series called Seeds of Change tells the real stories. Inmates turned mentors. Convicts turned craftsmen. Trailers go viral. TikTok show farms in bloom. State broadcasters show live farm tours in 5 dialects. This isn't just media. It's the message: redemption is real. And it works. So here we are, standing in the middle of something the world never expected. A nation once known for coups and chaos is now showing us what it means to build from the bottom. A place where concrete cells become green pastures. Where forgotten hands grow food, feed families, and forge futures. Captain Ibrahim Traore didn't just reform prison. He redefined justice. This isn't a gamble. It's a harvest. And in the red earth of Burkina Faso, the future is being planted one seed, one soul at a time. So what do you think? Is this the future of African justice, or just the beginning of something even bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this story. And don't forget, real change doesn't always come with fanfare. Sometimes it grows in silence. Sometimes it starts with a shovel and a seed. And sometimes it begins in a prison and ends in a field of hope.